Have you ever wondered why some people, starting with almost nothing, manage to build fortunes, while others, with more resources, end up with empty pockets? The answer isn't luck or timing, it's principles. In 1880, the legendary P.T. Barnum, the original Greatest Showman, wrote a small, powerful book called The Art of Money Getting. This wasn't a dry financial textbook filled with complex equations. It was a practical guide drawn from his own life, a life that transformed him from a poor Connecticut boy into one of the wealthiest and most influential entertainers of his time. Barnum laid out 12 golden principles for acquiring and keeping wealth. These lessons are not about shortcuts or risky speculation. They are about discipline, character, and common sense. And here's the surprising truth. What worked over 140 years ago works just as powerfully in our modern digital age. Welcome to Unique Audiobook. This comprehensive summary will guide you through Barnum's essential lessons. Stay with me, because the detailed wisdom we're about to explore may just rewire your financial foundation forever. Before we dive into Lesson 1, understand the unique context of this advice. Barnum was not a sheltered academic. He was a businessman who faced bankruptcy, public scandal, and immense debt, yet always managed to claw his way back to spectacular success. His principles were tested in the forge of real-world struggle. They are evergreen laws of money that transcend market cycles and technological change. Think about the struggles we face today: crippling consumer debt, the pressure of keeping up with the Joneses, amplified by social media, and the constant lure of high-risk, instant gratification ventures. Barnum's advice, rooted in Victorian-era thrift and moral clarity, offers a powerful antidote to these modern diseases. We will explore each principle with depth, providing both historical context and contemporary application, ensuring you grasp the profound yet practical nature of Barnum's philosophy. The final principle, Lesson 12, is the most crucial, acting as the ultimate growth engine for sustained wealth. Let's uncover the first foundation stone. 1. The power of perseverance. Core idea. Perseverance, the ability to keep moving when others quit, is the non-negotiable prerequisite for financial success. Money does not favor the impatient. It rewards those who are willing to persist through discouragement, failure, and delay. The principle. Barnum knew that the greatest barrier to wealth isn't a lack of capital, but a lack of resolve. Many people treat opportunity like a gold rush. They dig with excitement until the work gets hard. Then they abandon the mine, often just inches from the richest vein. Perseverance is the quality that differentiates a fleeting effort from a lasting legacy. It means committing to a business long enough to see it mature, saving consistently even when the amounts seem negligible, and learning continuously even when progress feels agonizingly slow. In our fast-paced world, the chase for shortcuts, viral stocks, quick schemes, instant validation is a mass delusion. History proves that real fortunes, the kind that last generations, are built through the compound interest of steady, repeated effort. Barnum himself faced repeated financial ruin. His comeback was always fueled by his refusal to accept defeat. He didn't just try again, he tried differently, armed with the lessons from the previous failure. This principle is not about brute force stubbornness, it's about resilience guided by learning. Deep dive and modern application. This lesson mirrors the modern concept of the long game. Psychologically, perseverance combats the hedonic treadmill of wanting instant results. Studies show that successful entrepreneurs often pivot their methods but rarely pivot their core mission. The persistence of Thomas Edison, who famously tried thousands of materials for the light bulb filament, is a classic example. Today, this applies to the commitment required to master a high-income skill, launch a technology startup that takes years to gain traction, or consistently adhere to a long-term investment plan that weathers multiple recessions. If you quit after the first failed side hustle, the market simply never had a chance to reward your effort. Perseverance provides the time required for compounding to work its magic, whether with money, skill, or reputation. Action step. Identify a major financial or professional setback you've recently experienced. Instead of viewing it as a stop sign, reframe it as data. List 3 specific, small actions you can take this week to re-engage with that goal, acknowledging that the path to breakthrough often follows a period of frustration. 2. Select the right business. Core idea. Hard work alone is insufficient. You must choose a fertile environment where your effort can yield the greatest return. The principle. Barnum argued that one of the greatest mistakes is plunging into a vocation for which you are temperamentally or skillfully unsuited. It's like trying to plant rice in the desert. No matter how much effort you put in, the harvest will be disappointing. When you dislike the work, every day is a battle, making perseverance impossible. Conversely, when your work aligns with your natural aptitudes, what you are good at, and passions, what you enjoy, your effort is multiplied. The work feels less like labor and more like play, allowing you to easily outcompete those who are simply clocking in. Barnum's own success came from recognizing his talent for promotion and spectacle, a field he genuinely loved. He urged people to avoid businesses that are merely fashionable or chosen out of parental or social pressure. Aligning your life's energy with your work is the most efficient path to wealth. Deep dive and modern application. This is the precursor to modern career alignment strategies. In the modern economy, knowledge and expertise are key leverage points. If you choose a field where you constantly feel drained or inadequate, you will struggle to develop the mastery necessary for high-value creation. The success of modern innovators often stems from obsessive focus on a niche they deeply care about, whether it's software engineering, content creation, or specialized consulting. If you are starting out, this principle means relentlessly testing and pivoting side projects until you find that overlap between your skill, passion, and market demand. Don't chase trends. Chase alignment. Action step. Dedicate 30 minutes to listing your 3 strongest, most effortless skills and the 3 activities that most frequently make you lose track of time. Use this intersection as a filter for evaluating your current professional path or next major financial decision. 3. Avoid debt, the silent killer of wealth. Core idea. Debt is a form of slavery. It robs you of your present income, future opportunities, and mental freedom. The principle. Barnum's most passionate warnings were reserved for unnecessary debt. He viewed it not just as a financial burden, but as a moral and mental hazard. Money, he observed, is in some respects like fire. It is a very excellent servant, but a terrible master. Debt turns that servant into a relentless master. When you are in debt, your daily labor enriches creditors, not yourself. While he acknowledged that strategic debt, like capital for a profitable venture, can be useful, he condemned consumer debt, credit cards, and buy now, pay later schemes, the modern forms of what he called living beyond one's means. Debt doesn't just drain your pocket, it poisons your confidence and ambition, making you risk-averse and stressed. True financial freedom is built on patience and the ability to save for what you need. Deep dive and modern application. In today's world, consumer debt is normalized, marketed as a lifestyle necessity. The average household struggles under revolving credit card balances and high-interest loans. Barnum's wisdom is incredibly practical. Every dollar not spent on interest is a dollar you can invest, and every decision not driven by a looming payment frees your mental space for creative thought and opportunity seeking. This principle applies especially to young professionals. A modest, debt-free life accelerates wealth building far faster than a high-income life crushed by high payments. Benjamin Franklin's similar warnings about debt underscore the timeless nature of this truth. Action step. Calculate the total amount of interest you paid last year on non-mortgage debt. Visualizing this lost capital can serve as a powerful motivator. Create a debt payoff plan focusing on the smallest balances first, the snowball method, to quickly regain mental freedom and financial momentum. 4. Invest wisely. Make your money work. Core idea. Wealth grows when you transition from earning money to making your money earn money. But this must be done with prudence and knowledge. The principle. Barnum was a capitalist, not an ascetic. He understood that wealth cannot be accumulated through saving alone. It must be invested. However, he vehemently warned against reckless speculation, the allure of get-rich-quick schemes that often ruin people in his era. His core rule was, never invest in things you do not understand. He saw countless people throw their savings into fashionable mining stocks or questionable inventions merely on the promise of a friend or the hype of the market. Wise investing requires patience, knowledge, and discipline. It means focusing on solid, transparent opportunities where growth is steady and predictable, rather than gambling on volatile, opaque ventures. He knew that the quickest way to lose your foundation is to risk capital you cannot afford to lose. Deep dive and modern application. This is the philosophy of legendary investors like Warren Buffett, who famously sticks to investing in simple businesses with durable competitive advantages. Today, Barnum's principle is a direct warning against chasing every volatile trend, be it meme stocks, complex derivatives, or cryptocurrencies you haven't researched. It stresses the virtue of becoming a knowledgeable owner, not a blind gambler. For the average person, this means understanding the difference between speculating and investing, choosing broadly diversified, low-cost index funds, or investing in the continuous education that increases your own earning power, your greatest asset. Investment decisions should be based on data and understanding, not fear of missing out. FOMO. Action step. Before your next investment, perform a Barnum check. Can you explain how the investment makes money to an average 10-year-old? If not, stop. Instead, spend an hour reading about the basics of diversification and compounding interest. 5. Be honest and reliable. Core idea. Honesty and reliability are not just moral obligations. They are the smartest long-term financial policies, as reputation is capital. The principle Barnum declared, honesty is the best policy, not only because it is right, but because it pays. He saw trust as a form of currency worth more than gold. When people know you are honest, they are willing to do business with you, lend you money, recommend you, and return to you repeatedly. This credibility attracts opportunities and acts as a safety net in times of trouble, as it did for Barnum when he had to recover from bankruptcy. Reliability, keeping your promises, meeting deadlines, honoring your word is the practical expression of honesty. Dishonesty, conversely, creates a shadow. Even if short-term profit is made, the destruction of one's reputation inevitably leads to long-term ruin and isolation. In a connected world, reputation spreads at the speed of light. Deep dive and modern application. In the age of online reviews, social media, and instant communication, Barnum's principle is critically amplified. One moment of dishonesty can go viral, destroying a business or career built over decades. On the flip side, people are willing to pay a premium for trustworthy service providers and products. This applies equally to employment. Employees known for reliability are promoted faster and trusted with greater responsibility. This principle extends to personal finances. Being reliable means honoring repayment agreements, paying your taxes accurately, and maintaining a high credit score, all of which open doors to better rates and bigger opportunities. Action step. Reflect on your reputation. If you've been tempted to cut corners or delay a promise, professional or personal, commit to over-delivering immediately. Understand that every fulfilled promise is an investment in your personal reputation capital. 6. Focus your energies. Core idea. Concentration is the engine of success. Divided attention produces half results everywhere and full success nowhere. The principle. Barnum analogized scattering one's efforts to trying to row 10 boats at once. You end up exhausted and going nowhere. He warned against dabbling constantly, chasing the newest side hustle or opportunity. The principle is simple. He who follows two hares is sure to catch neither. Success requires committing to one path at a time and giving it your full force until mastery is achieved and success is secure. Only then should you consider expansion. Starting 5 ventures simultaneously without mastery in any one almost guarantees mediocrity and failure. Focus sharpens your skills, builds expertise, and multiplies your financial returns through specialization. Deep dive and modern application. This principle is a direct counterattack on modern side hustle culture and the addiction to multitasking. While diversification is essential in investing, it is disastrous in execution. The success stories of today, from Elon Musk building PayPal before Tesla, or Steve Jobs focusing obsessively on the Mac before the iPhone, show that sequential focus beats simultaneous distraction. Psychologically, focus allows you to enter a flow state where high-quality work is produced efficiently. For a professional, this means mastering a niche. For an entrepreneur, it means serving a single customer segment exceptionally well before expanding. Action step. Review your active projects. Financial, professional, or personal. Identify the one project that offers the highest potential reward. For the next 2 weeks, commit 80% of your dedicated work time only to that one project, aggressively deferring all others. 7. Learn the value of time. Core idea. Time is the most precious resource, and wasting it is financially ruinous because it can never be bought back. The principle. Barnum was a fierce advocate for diligence and punctuality, believing that hours wasted through idleness, procrastination, or oversleeping are opportunities thrown away. Money lost can be recovered, but lost time is gone forever, robbing you of the years needed for compounding efforts to mature. He asserted that the man who wastes hours in idleness will, in the end, be a beggar. The wealthy don't have more hours than anyone else. They simply treat every hour as an investment. Punctuality is also a form of respect for others, which builds trust and attracts more business. Mastering time management is thus the foundation of money management. Deep dive and modern application. In the digital age, time is under constant siege by distraction, endless notifications, social media, and streaming. Barnum's lesson applies to prioritizing high-leverage activities and ruthlessly eliminating time vampires. Modern productivity systems like time blocking, the Pareto principle, or the Pomodoro technique are just formal structures for Barnum's core idea. Discipline your hours. The difference between success and failure often boils down to how consistently one applies focused effort during golden hours instead of succumbing to low-value, time-consuming distractions. Action step. For the next 3 days, use a simple log to track where your most valuable work hours go. Identify the single biggest time vampire activity and commit to replacing that activity with 30 minutes of high-value, focused work. 8. Save systematically. Core idea. Systematic saving turns labor into capital and capital into wealth. Without saving, even high income will leak away. The principle. Saving is the necessary act of sealing the financial leak. Barnum emphasized that the first duty of anyone seeking wealth is to save a portion of every dollar earned, the famous concept of paying yourself first. This is not about miserable austerity, but about financial discipline. He understood that income is temporary, but capital is permanent and self-replicating. By setting aside a fixed portion before paying expenses, you build a cushion that opens the door to investment opportunities. Barnum's contemporaries, who earned well but never saved, invariably died poor, while those who consistently saved modest sums ended up rich through the power of compounding. Deep dive and modern application. The most effective modern application of this is automated saving and investing. By setting up automated transfers to a separate investment account immediately following a paycheck, you bypass the psychological hurdle of deciding whether or not to save. This principle is not about the percentage you save initially, even 5% is a start, but the consistency of the habit. The story of Ronald Read, the janitor who quietly amassed an $8 million fortune through systematic saving and investing, perfectly illustrates Barnum's principle. Habit trumps income. Action step. Set up a permanent, automatic transfer of a fixed percentage of your income to a savings or investment account scheduled for the day you get paid. Make your future self the first creditor you pay. 9. Cultivate self-reliance. Core idea. Self-reliance is the backbone of business, character, and personal fortune. Dependence chains you to the will and opinions of others. The principle. To get rich, you must dare to act independently. Barnum warned against the man who cannot take a step without consulting 10 people, waiting, hesitating, and ultimately never moving forward. Relying too heavily on friends, relatives, or supposed experts weakens your initiative and invites disappointment. Self-reliance means taking absolute ownership of your choices, trusting your own well-informed judgment, and accepting responsibility for the outcomes, both good and bad. It gives you the necessary courage to seize opportunities and the strength to recover from inevitable mistakes without waiting for a rescuer. Fortune favors the bold who act, not the timid who wait. Deep dive in modern application. This principle applies profoundly to entrepreneurship and career progression. Leaders and innovators are, by definition, self-reliant people who are willing to go against the consensus. In a corporate setting, self-reliance is valued as proactivity and initiative. It doesn't mean ignoring all advice, but it means filtering advice through your own critical lens and making the final, decisive call yourself. The concept of failing forward is rooted in self-reliance, acknowledging the mistake, learning from it immediately, and relying on one's own resources to pivot and try again. Action step. Identify one recent decision, financial or professional, where you abdicated responsibility to others. Take a step today to reverse that dependence by researching the options yourself and making a well-reasoned, independent choice. 10. Beware of extravagance. Core idea. Extravagance, driven by vanity and the desire to impress, is a relentless drain that destroys fortunes faster than they can be earned. The principle. Barnum argued that true wealth is not about what you display, but what you retain and grow. Extravagance is the habit of wasteful spending on appearances, luxury clothes, grand parties, and toys designed to make one look rich, while often masking a state of inner poverty and debt. He advocated for economy, which is careful management, not stinginess. The problem is psychological. The need for outward show often stems from insecurity. By living simply and within your means, you conserve the capital necessary for investment and maintain the mental discipline required for wealth accumulation. Simplicity quietly builds wealth. Extravagance loudly announces debt. Deep dive and modern application. This principle is the modern war against lifestyle creep. As income rises, so too do unnecessary expenses, bigger houses, luxury car leases, expensive habits. Barnum's warning is the antidote to the pressure of social media, where people often fake success by going into debt. Billionaires like Warren Buffett and Ingvar Kamprad, founder of IKEA, are legendary for their simple lifestyles, understanding that retained capital is the engine of power. while showy spending is a vanity tax. Action step. Review your spending for the last month. Highlight every expense driven purely by appearance or vanity. Commit to cutting the highest cost vanity expense by half and dedicating that saving to a long-term investment. 11. Embrace hard work and diligence. Core idea. Laziness breeds poverty. Diligence breeds prosperity. Hard work is the engine that converts potential into fortune. The principle. Barnum maintained that without industry, nothing can be accomplished. Success is not a matter of luck, but of consistent, diligent effort, showing up, paying attention to detail, and putting in the hours. He strongly rejected the notion that wealth falls into the lap of the idle. Hard work, to Barnum, was the necessary soil for fortune's seed to sprout. It is not glamorous, but it is reliable. Behind every spectacular success lies years of unseen, relentless labor. Those who embrace work build lasting wealth and respect. Those who avoid it may find temporary comfort, but eventually face stagnation. Diligence is the price of independence. Deep dive and modern application. Thomas Edison's famous quote, "Genius is 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration," is pure Barnum philosophy. In today's competitive environment, diligence often means the willingness to do the difficult, boring, high-value tasks that others avoid. This includes consistent skill maintenance, detailed financial review, and the extra effort to provide exceptional customer service. The difference between an average performer and a top earner is often not talent, but the commitment to daily, focused diligence. Action step. Identify one area of your professional or financial life where you know you've been lazy. For example, updating your resume, learning a new software tool. Commit to working one focused hour on that task every single day for a week. 12. Never give up on improvement. Core idea. Success is a lifelong journey. The moment you stop learning, adapting, and upgrading yourself, you begin to decline. The principle. Barnum understood that while diligence is necessary to build a fortune, continuous improvement is necessary to keep it. He saw successful people who, resting on past achievements, failed to adapt to changing markets and technology, and were eventually left behind. Improvement requires humility, the willingness to admit you don't know it all, and curiosity. You must read, study, and stay sharp. In Barnum's time, this meant adapting to new travel methods or entertainment technologies. Today, it means mastering digital platforms, new programming languages, or evolving market trends. Improvement is not a luxury. It is the insurance policy for lasting relevance and wealth. Deep dive and modern application. This is the ultimate lesson for the 21st century. The speed of technological change makes skills obsolete faster than ever before. The concept of the T-shaped professional, deep expertise in one area, broad knowledge in others, is a modern expression of continuous improvement. True wealth preservation requires constant reinvestment in your human capital, your skills, and knowledge. Learning ensures that your earning potential remains elastic and adaptable, protecting you from economic shifts. Action step. Choose one core professional or financial skill that will be crucial 3 years from now. For example, AI integration, complex data analysis, advanced investing. Enroll in a free course, buy a book, or commit to a 15-minute daily study session on that topic starting today. Let's summarize. Barnum's The Art of Money Getting is not a manual of financial tricks. It is a blueprint for character-based wealth. These 12 principles, from the bedrock of perseverance to the engine of continuous improvement, form an interconnected system. They confirm that fortune built on discipline, honesty, and consistent effort endures, while fortune built on speculation and vanity collapses. Your journey to financial freedom doesn't end here, it begins here. Take action today. Pick one principle, apply it rigorously this week, and watch the transformation begin. The fortune you seek is waiting for your first disciplined step.